Well, not to worry, here's Bob in your life.
Greetings to the brightest audience in the country. I am Bob Enyart, America's most popular, self-proclaimed right-wing religious fanatic, homophobic, anti-choice talk show host, and now the latest bestseller. Wow, it looks like Ann Coulter is guilty. Come on. Oh, no. That's the title of her latest tour de force against liberals. So welcome back, Ann Coulter, to Bob Enyart Live.
Thank you. Great to be here, Bob.
Some of our memorable moments have been interviewing Ann. And you wrote that Romney governed as a pro-lifer, and I'm wondering if you would reconsider that, since he authorized funding for elective abortions in his Romney Care. He line item vetoed that socialist health care package 8 times to conform it to his view of a good health care program. They call it Romney Care, and he authorized elective, tax-funded surgical abortions.
Okay, well, you can take it up with the pro-life and anti-life groups in Massachusetts. I'm quoting them. Let's move on.
I'd rather not, because he also...
Okay, I don't want to go on and on about Romney. I'm here to talk about the book. I don't really care about Romney. And if you're obsessed with Romney, then...
No, he authorized tax-funded surgical abortions.
Okay, you know what? My mother's waiting to have dinner with me. We're going to head off to dinner, but it's been great talking to you, Bob.
All right, I didn't think you want to answer those questions, Ann. I think you're afraid to.
You supported Mitt Romney. Now, I, again, was very vocal about Romney, basically because, you're very good at calling people out for lying and deception. Romney calls himself a Christian when a Mormon, according to biblical Christianity, a Mormon's no more a Christian than a Muslim is.
I mean, this is a guy who went to Harvard Business School and Bain Capital. He's a Mormon because that was what his family was. I think the important point is he's a Christian, and the rest of it are bells and whistles. And the final point I'd make, and I really have to go, you can't hold me, someone's waiting for me.
Once upon a time, there was a man named Mitt who said a very bad thing.
I believe that abortion should be safe and legal in this country.
Then he thought of campaigning in Utah and said, I am not pro-choice. But when he came back to liberal Massachusetts,
I will preserve and protect a woman's right to choose.
Then in 2004, he magically became pro-life. But only 6 months later,
I am absolutely committed to my promise to maintain the status quo with regards to laws relating to abortion and choice.
The spell must have worn off. Now he's on the campaign trail again, and he's back to being pro-life.
I was pro-choice, I am pro-life. I changed my position. I never said I was pro-choice.
Now he's in South Carolina selling us his abortion fairy tale.
Mitt Romney, willing to sacrifice children, lying for your vote.
Well, our next guest on Dace in the Afternoon is a woman that needs little or no introduction. Her name is Ann Coulter. And it's a pleasure to have you on Dace in the Afternoon here on the largest media outlet in the first in the nation caucus state.
That's fantastic. I feel like I should be running for president.
I want to play something for you. Mary Matlin, but another very outspoken woman and Republican and activist, was on the show. I'd love to get your comment on it. Here it is.
Mitt Romney's health care plan that he's applauding. You can get an abortion for $50 in his health care plan. I mean, come on. What he's bragging about having done is a health care program that pays for abortion.
And when Mary Matlin came on this show and said that Mitt Romney signed into law legislation in Massachusetts that would provide $50 copay abortions, is that true?
I don't know the details on that. He was in Massachusetts. What his defenders say, this is something obviously a lot of people have looked at, is that state law already covered abortions.
I am Ann, the product of a 15-year-old mom who got pregnant at 14 right as Roe versus Wade was becoming law and chose not to abort me. My wife, her mother, is the product of a rape. We get married. So, I mean, this is an issue I care deeply about, and I know that you do as well. So let me ask you this question. If they came to you and said, you have to sign this into law and also guarantee that we're going to provide $50 abortion copays and put Planned Parenthood on the state board, knowing how much of a conviction the life issue for you is, would you have done that?
I don't know. I don't know the details.
You have to say about Romney, he tricked liberals into voting for him. Romney's candidacy for presidency. I think he's probably our best candidate. I like a guy who hoodwinks liberals so easily. And also, the one thing that I have a very soft spot for is that I love Mormons. And
there was a lot of argument about where did gay marriage come from. So I went out and I talked to a friend of mine who's Oxford educated and lives in Massachusetts, and his name is John Haskins. Here's what he said.
Wait, is this whole thing going to be about Romney?
Gave no orders to anyone, not to the governor, not to anybody in the executive branch. No orders were issued. The attorney for the plaintiffs came out after the opinion was issued and told the media that unless the legislature changed the law, there would be no effect. Romney opposed a marriage amendment to define marriage between one man and one woman, and the court in that case said they could not order the governor or the legislature to perform any duties, constitutional or otherwise. Court could not change this law. The court had said any change to marriage law would have to come from the legislature in a previous ruling. Mitt Romney did this on his own, fulfilling a promise he made to the log cabin homosexual Republicans.
Who's that in? That's a friend of mine who's an activist out in Massachusetts. His name is John Haskins.
Clearly.
Now,
you know what? That's a lie. He doesn't know the law. He didn't go to a good law school. He doesn't understand what he's talking about. I've heard this from the anti-Romney fanatics a million times, and
so
I don't want to spend this whole interview talking about Romney.
Well, I didn't either. That's why I waited until. That's why I waited for 20 minutes until we got there.
On about Romney.
I agree. Listen, this is
Churchill's definition of a fanatic is a man who can't change his mind and won't change the subject. I don't want to talk about Romney. I'm here to talk about my book and you anti-Romney fanatics spreading these crazy lies. I mean, this is on the order of the Obama, whether he was born in the United States. This is This is the equivalent on the left wing of the 9/11 truth.
So do you think John? Listen, this is why I'm asking you.
The person you just quoted is wrong, and he's either a bad liar or a bad lawyer, or he's a liar.
Okay.
Because that's crazy.
Well, here's why. This is why I think our audience
directed the legislature and the governor to allow gay marriage.
It's Dace in the afternoon.
Best-selling author Greg Jackson. He's even hosted CPAC as the MC, the annual conference for conservatives. And Coulter explicitly says there was an order directing Romney to enact gay marriage. Is that true?
Absolutely false. And I am going to issue a challenge in front of your audience right now. I will challenge Ann Coulter $1 million to produce the court order that she's talking about that supposedly forced Mitt Romney to issue marriage licenses. If she can produce that order, I will give $1 million, have to mortgage my house, to the best, most authentic pro-life organization, American Right to Life, our friend Brian Rohrbaugh, the Authentic Right to Life group. And if she fails to prove it, then she has to give $1 million. How's that for a challenge, Ann?
Talking to you crazy Romney truthers.
Well, this is the reason I asked you, Ann, is because I know that you're someone that has a lot of courage and takes a lot of scrutiny.
Okay, but I'm not going to keep answering this. So we're talking about my book or I'm leaving.
Okay, well, this is about the book because I know that he's in the book.
It's about the book. It's your crazy anti-Romney theories. Next you're going to be talking about Building 7 at the World Trade Center.
Ann, thank you for being very generous with your time this afternoon. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.